Hello everybody, this is Phi. We're checking out God of the Arena Dungeon. This is a game I've not played before. We're going to give it a playtest and see if we can give some useful feedback. I'm finally getting around to this one. It's been showing up in the demo days for a little while now, but I'll start by checking out the game page here. It says a downloadable arena hell for Windows. Hectic PvPvE with unique non-instanced dungeon bosses. Extensive class tree system culminating in 16 plus different endgame classes. Boasts team modes with unique class interaction. Items and specializations allow for build customization, ever-expanding maps and game modes. Made with both casual play and competitive play in mind. Alright, so as I understand, there's like a networking in this game. However, I'm going to be just playing it solo here. I believe that I believe the developer mentioned to me that they added bots to the game, so we'll see how that works. Maybe not the ideal way to experience the game, but just what we're going to have to go with for now. I'm sure I can still give some feedback on what's here. It mentions controls. Hold left mouse button to shoot, right mouse button is ability 1, space bar is ability 2, WASD for movement, hold Q or shift, inspect HUD elements. Interesting. E is pick up item, mouse over item is inspect item, M is toggle minimap, enter is chat, F11 is toggle full screen. It's been a while since I've seen a full screen toggle button on a game. I guess Alt and Enter sometimes shows up, but I feel like back in like the 90s or whatever, it used to always be like F3 or F4 was the like universal full screen button or something. Let's go ahead and try and get into the game here and see what we can figure out. So I've not seen anything past the screen. This is what you first see when you launch the game in its current state. By the way, I noticed that this was updated like 11 hours ago, the version I grabbed here. So interesting to see what has been, I didn't play earlier versions to know what's been added recently, but it's nice to know the developer's constantly tweaking things here, but it might be a little different from if anyone else has played an earlier version of the game. So it mentions destroy arena vermin to level up, move with WASD, and shoot by holding left click. I think that this is supposed to be me, and then there's other things here. I'm noticing a little bit of input lag on the cursor here, which is presumably from VSync here. Yeah, it's in borderless windowed mode currently. I'm not sure if there's any settings. We can try and test for that in a moment here. Eat the food dropped by enemies and press E to equip items. Seek out stronger vermin to become new classes. Use your special abilities with right click and spacebar. Hold shift or Q to read your abilities and items. Destroy other players and bring honor to the arena, but what lies beyond the arena doors. Right. Oh, so there's a whole menu here. Mentions the Fat Rat edition, and the bottom left here, I guess, is on Steam. Perhaps this is in early access or whatnot. Can guess. We got solo, arena, join arena, browse arena, host arena. Menu and feats. We got game settings right here. Mute sounds is off, mute music is off. Everything is off. This is kind of weird in the way that this is implemented. Usually you have like, I don't know, maybe a checkbox, or if you want to like switch full screen, maybe you would have like a drop down or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird to just have like everything on and off. It's a very minor thing, but it's just what it occurs to me. Mute text to speech, censored chat. So this is going into, all right, interesting. I can't tell if this is trying to go into exclusive full screen or not, for sure, but I don't think it is. But there's no options for, like, for instance, VSync. This kind of game, I know it's not very pretty to get like screen tearing with pixel art and such, 2D graphics, but with this kind of game where it relies on aiming with the cursor, it really helps a lot to be able to get rid of VSync to reduce that input lag. It'll help to be a lot more accurate with the mouse. And of course, some people have like G-Sync, for instance, that they don't want to have VSync enabled for that. Is there anything else in here? We got resume, game settings, feed board, cursor settings. Oh, interesting. That's cool. And colors. You might want to have something like a default button or something somewhere here. What? Oh, it bounces. That's very strange, but... Oh, this one moves too. I feel like I'd rather it just didn't move at all, so I think I'm going to stick with this. We got controls here. I guess it's just mentioning, oh, you can press 9 to suicide. And hold tab for leaderboard, that also wasn't mentioned, I don't think. Escape is menu, that wasn't mentioned. T is team chat, that wasn't mentioned. Tur chat, that wasn't mentioned. F for feats, that wasn't mentioned. Guess they mentioned the most important things, but... Guess we're just going to click on Solo Arena. I'm a little bummed about the VSync, but just have to deal with it here. Core dungeon, 0 bots, normal enemies, more enemies, fewer enemies, ultra enemies. I think the dev actually gave me a number, like... Let me actually look that up real quick, just because my memory is unreliable. $12 to 15 bots. So, I don't know, I might know. Arena, dungeon. Interesting. You might want to put this above the other one if the top one is dependent on this one. Seem to make more sense. Usually you start from the top and go down. I don't know, I guess we'll try this thing. I was wondering if maybe with less bots I could kind of go at a slower pace to, you know, test things and then like talk and screw around and stuff. Not sure if that's the case, but maybe. We got Thief, Mage, Warrior, and Priest. Enter your name. This is a really small thing, but it's a little hard to see which thing you have selected currently. Like, it does, the selected one doesn't differentiate from like the one you're, or the way it shows as selected is the same as like the hover effect. So it kind of works better in my opinion if you have like a different effect to show what's actually being selected. I don't know what these do. That would be nice to know because I have like literally nothing to go on in terms of what effect the different classes have on the game. I guess I can start with Mage because it's in the top left. Enter your name. This doesn't appear to like be responding, but if I start typing, it seems to just kind of work. It'd be nice just to have like a little flashing cursor down here or something. Does work with lowercase. Name too small. What? Change your name, coward. Why would it be too small? That's kind of annoying. Great arena. Alright, we're in here. There's already stuff attacking me. So yeah, not much downtime here so far. I shoot very slowly. My projectiles aren't particularly fast and the rate of fire is very slow. That apparently hit me. It didn't... Well, did he just... Why did he burst just now? It was like I didn't even shoot him. One of those monster things like ran into me. I guess I have to press E to pick this up. So I'm wondering if there's like a reason to have to do that as opposed to just like walk over something like this. Maybe at some point something would be replaced. I don't know. So I don't know if this actually pauses if I press this. I mean, obviously I couldn't just pause it if it was being a networked game, but I don't see anything happening, so I'm assuming that this is paused. It says resume right here. Yeah, I think the colliders are something to be keeping an eye on here, because I did feel like maybe these bullets are pretty slow, so I can get a pretty good idea just kind of experimenting with this. Oh, if I hold the right mouse button, apparently it does this. It's interesting. Where's my health? Okay, it looks like it's at the bottom. A little hard to see down there. Like I have to really look down there to see. It'd be nice if there was something that made it a little bit more visible without maybe sitting further back or something. But yeah, so colliders can be a little tricky because of the fact that this is like player versus player, which brings up some more considerations. Generally, I prefer colliders to be rather forgiving on the player, maybe the opposite for the enemies, that kind of thing. What a pitiful offering. Left click to respawn, right click to change class, press space to spectate. Interesting, I can just respawn in here. So yeah, does something happen when you walk over those? They just disappear over time. Oh, it was just coincidence, I guess. So I want to face something other than these moles, like this duck. I want to experiment with the duck. Alright, so it's not like... Sometimes people make the mistake of like making the collider so big, it's like the thing that's dangerous didn't even touch you. Like the visuals didn't even like actually make contact, but it still counted as hurting you, that kind of thing. That's not going on here. It's definitely like within the bounds of the sprites, but my first inclination is that I prefer the player's collider to be a bit smaller, but on the other hand, it does add some potential issues when you're doing like PvP, because you don't want to shoot another player, but then like it looks like your shot goes through them, but then it doesn't count as a hit, that kind of thing. When you have other human players, that kind of thing becomes important. Something you can do in that regard, though, like if you were to consider like maybe just shrinking down the player collider a little bit, you could experiment with things like making the collision on the player's attacks bigger to kind of counteract that, because that'll, like, for the enemies, it'll kind of have the effect where you it's slightly more forgiving with all these projectiles and stuff, and like especially with like enemies directly colliding with you and this kind of stuff, but other players, because their attacks will have kind of larger colliders, it'd be less likely for them to get kind of frustrated because it looks like they shot you, but the game doesn't count it as a hit. So like it'd be nice I guess I haven't been given much idea of... Oh, that actually... There's a couple times it looked like my shot was going through the other duck. This one, it didn't seem like it was. That was kind of weird. Not sure what the deal was there. But, yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the goal is. I guess is just to, like, kill things to get stronger, right? And you try and kill the other players. It could be nice if... Oh, okay, so there's some HUD stuff. This is much so far to the edge of the screen that, like, I can't really... I can't really see this stuff while I'm, like, playing normally. Particularly, like, all the way down here. I think you'd benefit from shifting stuff around a little bit to make it... You know, add some padding on the edges of the screen here at the very least, so you can move stuff a little bit closer to the center. I know you want to keep the play area clean, but I need to, like, actually be able to see the UI for it to be functional. I guess at the very bottom here we have our XP. I think it'd be nice if the UI sort of suggested kind of my goal and my progress towards that goal a little bit better. So if the point is just to get as strong as possible, you might want to just kind of emphasize your current level or whatever in the UI here. Now I pressed E while I was standing over that and nothing happened. I don't know what the deal was with that. There's also this thing where it's kind of pointing towards, I guess it's like a boss or something. So I think, you know, maybe that's important because, I don't know, I can only guess as to why, but maybe bosses have, if you kill them, then they give you more or something. I'm just making a bunch of assumptions here, you know. I don't really know. So I think that there's ways that you can kind of communicate these things better using like UI and stuff. If you display things in oh, that's another player thing, or bot, I guess. If you display things in such a manner that it's like really obvious that it's important, like, hey, you better go pay attention to this thing, you know, that kind of stuff, then it can help with that. Yeah, for some reason, some of these ducks, they seem to, like, your attacks just kind of go through them. Like, I think they're still taking damage, but the projectiles just go through them. These enemies are... Yeah, I'm not really sure how this works. Some of the enemies just die and the projectile keeps going, and then some of them that actually, like, the projectile hits them and then... Excuse me. It, some of the enemies, the projectile kind of collides with them and then disappears, and then some of them it doesn't, so it's quite inconsistent. It's a little confusing how that is meant to work. Anyways, I haven't been really, like, trying to progress or anything here. So this guy, apparently his projectiles can block your projectile, which is weird. It's interesting, I guess. Does he just have worms? I guess it just spits out worms. So yeah, I really wish that my default bullet here thing could travel a bit faster. It's pretty unsatisfying and kind of makes things less responsive and makes it harder to aim when it moves this slow. That guy's just straight up hiding. The sound of the music is surprisingly low. Most people have the volume levels of the games jacked right up to, like, insane levels. I guess that egg just blows up. So, like, how do I... Space just doesn't do anything yet, I guess? So yeah, like, I assume if I kill guys I get, like, EXP or whatever. That's something that's not really communicated either. Like, I just kind of assume that because that's how most games work, but the game doesn't give me any indication, so you could have something like something somewhere on screen that shows that like EXP is being collected as things are dying around me, and maybe like, I don't know, maybe the boss gives me more EXP than other things. There's no way for me to know how much EXP anything is giving me because there's nothing on the screen indicating it that I can see. Looks like I auto choose. Her wind-themed backstory explains this class progression. For those who like to deal damage, for those who like to silence enemies. Alright, so there's like a bunch of kind of flavor text here, and this, you know, it can be nice in concept, but with this kind of game, like, we have like a time limit to choose, and once players are familiar with this, once they like read it once, they're not going to care about this flavor text like ever again. So those things in combination, I think, kind of makes it seem a bit... I don't know why I can't pick up some of these items. Kind of makes it seem a bit strange to just like use that much of the screen for this flavor text when you could just kind of just simply say what the thing does and then keep going, or at least keep the flavor text like really succinct. Because yeah, it's just kind of, like I said, the player might read it once, ever, and then after that they're just like not really gonna care anymore, and if they even like read it the first time, because you know, some players just might not care, and then they're just gonna want to know what it does. So it's like they might even get kind of frustrated because there's like all this text on the screen, and they just want to know what the thing does. They don't want to sit there and like read it start to end. You know, some players are very impatient about stuff like that. So stuff to consider. So I think my projectile speed has increased a little bit, which is kind of nice. I think my health is full. Looks like we have 25-second cooldown on this. Which is quite harsh, especially since it has this kind of a long charge up time. I kind of assumed that maybe the penalty would just be the charge up time on it, you know, like, is it really so powerful that it both has a charge up time and you can only use it once every 25 seconds? It seems kind of strange. Like, so that's another thing that occurs to me. There's no like damage numbers or anything, so I don't actually know how much damage I'm dealing. I don't know how strong anything I'm doing is. So for instance, I don't know what this special attack does versus my normal attack. I have no idea like how those numbers work out, because there's no indication that I can see. I don't even know what I've been picking up. This is fast ring, this is far ring, +1 bullet range, why not? +2 bullet speed, that sounds nice. Since I was complaining about that. Green watch, -1, left mouse button cooldown. So I think that's just the same thing. What does this sound? Now, where exactly am I? Oh, okay. See, there's a little yellow thing here. I couldn't really tell where I was in this image here. You might want to do a little bit more to differentiate what the player icon indicator thing is in the little mini-map here. Maybe even animate it a bit to make it obvious at a glance. Have like little like you can have like an outline around it that just kind of grows over time and that kind of thing. Bunch of stuff came out of this guy. I don't know, maybe you just get, I don't know what this stuff is. Maybe that's only, no, I don't know what that is. Maybe, wait, we have a purple meter. Oh, well, why did I just start? My sprite was like bouncing back and forth at incredibly high speed for a moment there. So if I hold shift, I can see more things. I don't really have time to stop and like look at stuff like this though, because this game doesn't really have much in the way of downtime. Just something you might want to consider. It's not necessarily obvious how you might achieve that. I mean, you can have like waves of enemies or something. I don't know, you might find some other creative way, but I think it's nice if games have some kind of downtime, especially when it comes to like putting together builds and stuff. If that's kind of a thing you want to go for, the player doesn't really have time to like sit here and start like reading things and thinking about how the different things are working together and stuff, because the game is just going constantly. So I don't know, like, can I hide in the corner and try to like sit here and read? Even if I can do this successfully, like my opponents are going to be going around and leveling up and stuff probably. So it's like, it's not really a chance for me to do this kind of stuff. Faster ring, green watch. Oh. What? Is this not a wall? Why can he go through the wall? That's very weird. Frog does not care. Frog goes over the walls, okay. There's a duck up there. Just chilling. What is this? Unlocks at tier 3, which... What is tier 3? Do I have to... Am I like tier 2 after I chose the, whatever that was, the class thing? I assume it's just from leveling up or whatever. Oh my gosh. No, I want to read what's in the corners of the screen here. Big frogs. Cloud Blast, 25-second cooldown, 32 MP. So it does take MP in addition to charge up time and having a cooldown. This is very strange. I mean, not very strange. I mean, it's not like it's the only game that does this kind of thing. But yeah, it's like my immediate inclination is like, why does this take so many different types of resources simultaneously? One is the time to charge it up, like in the terms of the action game here. One is the actual cooldown time that prevents me from using it again, and the other one is the MP cost here. It kind of makes me think, you know, maybe it would be simpler to just choose one. Oh, okay, so there's this weird effect. Destroy only worthy enemies. Go to the next zone. What? I don't know what that meant. There's this weird effect where if you pick up something and you drop another item, it kind of drops it in the direction that your cursor is facing. Which I found kind of slightly annoying, because it was like, it keeps moving away from me if like I want to pick it up again or something. It would be nice if, wait. Aren't you supposed to be able to examine items by hovering over them with the mouse? Wasn't that mentioned? Oh, wait, you have to stand on it and then hover? You have to be really close. Okay, that's very strange. I don't really understand the thought process there. I mean, I can kind of understand, like, okay, thinking in like IRL terms, you have to have your character close to the item before you can examine it or whatever. But I don't know, that just seems to make it more troublesome in my opinion. I was thinking, actually my original thought before I kind of went off on this was like, why not just have a little pop-up when you move the character close to the thing, saying what it does? Having to like both move the character on it and use the mouse to like hover over it at the same time, it seems a little bit redundant. Like I don't see a reason why you would need both of those. So yeah, in my opinion, I would have it either so that you like, either you get the pop-up just by putting your character near the thing, or just by hovering the mouse over it, regardless of where it is on the screen. I think that would be nicer. So I guess it doesn't want me to kill the chickens or the ducks. I don't know why I just called them chickens. I'm a bit tired. Brain function is limited currently. We've got, looks like I have the most honor by like a massive amount, which is kind of weird. Like I haven't been trying at all. Maybe the bots are just kind of not very smart or something. I don't know. Go to the next zone. I still don't know what these bottle things do. I can't seem to pick them up. Maybe it has something to do with the MP. Apparently it has something to do with the MP. That's another thing that occurs to me, like some of these get good, okay. I guess it doesn't want me to kill the ducks again. I just see thing and I'm shooting at it because why not? I'm focusing on other things as well. So we've got +1 bullet range. Wait, oh, I think I... Wait a minute. So apparently the ducks actually attack you? Maybe it's a goose, I don't know. Even though you're not supposed to shoot them? I don't really understand what's going on there. But yeah, I think I shot one that was off the screen, which is kind of silly. And there's like a ton of these right now, and I'm not supposed to shoot them? It's really weird. Oh. Oh, okay. I think I understand now. So I think I think the game was trying to tell me to go to this area. I don't know where. I didn't know this area was here. I don't really understand how any of this stuff works. This is the first time I've ever seen it. But I think the game was just trying to keep me from staying in the area with the weak monsters. So it was like trying to penalize me after not moving on here. Okay, yeah. This is all very unfamiliar to me, so I would put, like, if you want the player to go up here, I would just put some kind of like arrow, like a big flashing arrow saying like, hey, new area is open up here, and just like flash it at the player and say like, go there, you know, something like that. Would seem to work better. I don't feel particularly strong here. I've been playing for a little while, not very seriously. I've just been kind of talking the whole time, I know. Not really caring very much, but I feel like I haven't gotten very much for power-ups. I just have these 2 items that I found kind of early on. I got some kind of power-up from, I assume, from leveling that made my attacks more powerful or whatever. But it seems like it's pretty slow to actually give you any sort of power-ups here. What is this? What is this? Rose patches. This is also really hard to read. -2 right mouse button cooldown, I guess. It's hard to read that amidst a hail of bullets coming at you. I'm trying to itch my nose here. What the heck? Omega Rat Blimp has appeared in the arena. Okay. It's also a little hard to read this text. Whoa. Okay, so if I'm... Wait. Yeah, so it seems like there's a little bit of a bug here with a collision. If I go against this wall... Okay. It's a bit annoying with a bunch of enemies throwing stuff at me to demonstrate this, but if I go against the wall and look to the right with my cursor, and then I bring it to the left, I get kind of stuck in the wall a bit. It seems to shift my collider just a little bit into the wall. Makes me stick to it. So what happened to that? Okay, there's a little arrow down here. There's the Omega Rat Blimp. So you could consider something like, I don't know, if you want to flash a message on the screen. I don't know if there's a way you could like stop the enemies from attacking you for a moment, or like make them all disappear or something. I don't know if that would be better that way. Might not be necessary, but just something that occurs to me. It's kind of annoying if you're seeing messages appear on the screen, but you're focusing on the gameplay, so you can't really read them, or you decide to read them and then start taking damage because you're focused on the gameplay and that kind of thing. That looks like it. Does it have a magnifying glass? Oh, apparently those blimp the smaller rat blimps explode when they get close to you. Alright, between these walls and all the smaller enemies, I can't even like get to this rat blimp. Come back. Does it move the same speed I do? Because it's... Okay, I think I move slightly faster than it does. Oh, ever so slightly faster. Okay, that's something you might want to consider tweaking just for the sake of like allowing the players to get to the thing. If the boss moves the same speed I do, it can just like it can practically like kite me. It has to keep running, and like I can never really catch up to it until it starts turning around or whatever. So it can end up taking the player like a lot longer than it otherwise would just to get to the boss. Which could be particularly frustrating, like if the okay, so like if the player say other players are like attacking the boss and they're like doing damage to it because they want to get the goods from killing the boss. If you know that they're doing that and you want to like get to the boss yourself because you don't want to miss out, it can be frustrating if you just can't catch up to it because of the speed that the boss is moving and everything. So that's stuff you might want to consider. That could be about like the movement speed, but also just the general behavior of the boss, like how it moves. Like this rat just kind of goes in a straight line for a long time. A boss that had a more complex movement pattern that just kind of moved around a little more erratically, or you know, stopped and did different things. There's a lot of different things that could oh my gosh. That could kind of, you know, be a more complex movement behavior that wouldn't just move in a straight line, so that'd be hard to catch up to. Let's see, we've got Frosty Guy. I can guess that it might slow enemies just because of what it is, but I don't really... Snow Bullet. Snowball, Rolling Ice. Oh, I got the Blizz Nova, whatever that is. All right, I don't see any indication as to what the snow bullet does as opposed to any other bullet. Stuff is shooting at me from off the screen. What does that say? Further ring +2 bullet range. I don't feel like I need any bullet range. The range is already like further than the edges of the screen, so it doesn't seem very valuable to me. Wait, oh, it doesn't want me in here? Where do I go, in the middle area? It said something else was open, right? Where? Okay. Oh my gosh. Alright, so interesting, we get this blizzard attack thing, which kind of shoots stuff in all directions. I find this a bit annoying because it puts so many more projectiles on the screen that it just adds a lot of visual noise. And when there's already a lot of projectiles from all the enemies and stuff, in my opinion, it just makes it harder to actually like avoid damage and such. Because it's just filling the screen with more junk, kind of. So I guess this is where it wanted me to go. I still don't get much of a sense of like actually being much stronger here. I guess I'm level 24 now. I'm a wizard. The goblins have a funny little death animation where it like a hole bursts in their chest. It's really kind of strange, but charming. Oh, so now the right mouse button is the snowball thing, which comes out instantly. Does it like... I guess it melted. I don't really know what that does. Rolling ice ball creates freezing sphere. Doesn't really give me much information. I don't know what any of my attacks really do. Presumably the spacebar one actually just does damage, which... What actually happened to the spacebar one here? Why can't I use that? Oh, I can use it. Looked like it was grayed out. That's kind of weird. Oh. So I guess it gets bigger as it goes. I don't really know. I still don't really know what that does in any more detail, though. Right, yeah, so... I guess if the projectiles are too fast, then it would be harder to do PvP, maybe. As far as... Playing this as kind of a solo game, I don't even know what happened to the bots. I don't know if they died. Maybe they all just died at some point and that's why their numbers are so low. Because they don't have a way to respawn or anything. But, yeah, it is kind of tiresome, like the bullets being so slow, the rate of fire being so slow. This makes me wonder if maybe you could even... I don't know if there's like another way you could incorporate the idea of PvP instead of just like players shooting at each other. Like maybe that's a bit simplistic. Oh. Iced out. Improved Blizz Nova emission and freeze effect. I didn't even know there was a freeze effect. Or maybe that's part of the new thing, I don't know. Snowmania, improved snowball size, speed, and duration. I don't know. How could I possibly know which one of these is better or preferred or whatever? What does it do once it just sits there? It just does nothing, I guess. Once it hits something, I don't know. What does this even do? Did it even do any damage or anything? So I feel like that's just not actually doing anything to the enemies around me. I don't really know. Like maybe it slows them down or something, but I couldn't really tell. Oh, my shots will actually collide with this. I guess the enemy shots do too. It's interesting. It's like you can walk through the big snowball thing, but apparently collides with bullets. I didn't even know I was low in health. I wasn't being particularly careful there, but might want some kind of indication if the player's about to die. You know, have some kind of sound effect, make something flash on the screen, like, oh, your health is low. I guess you get health back by eating the food dropped by enemies. Didn't really think about that too much, but looks like I died as level 30. I'm assuming if I respawn... Oh, I still have my abilities. Interesting. I wonder if there's some kind of penalty or if... +2 speed. I don't feel very speedy. I can't read what that says. These enemies are right here. Also might want to be careful about having enemies spawn like really close to the player. -2, what does that say? Looks like this is GBP or SPC. Maybe it's special. -2 special cooldown. Oh, it disappeared. I didn't expect that to happen. I can't. It says say -3 special and -2 left mouse button CDs, which I think is cooldowns. -3 special. What does that mean? -3 to the cost. Left mouse button. This is shooting a bit faster in terms of rate of fire. Oh. So maybe it did penalize me by dropping me down like a, what do they call it, a tier? I don't remember. Something like that. Lots of bullets on the screen here. Oh, this isn't very good. Oops. I'm not particularly good at at dodging bullets and stuff with the WASD here. I would do a little bit better with the gamepad. I don't know if this says gamepad support, but I do prefer aiming with the mouse over like a twin stick or something, so it's kind of a pros and cons situation. Yeah, there's starting to be like a lot of stuff where they can kind of back you into a wall and then just shoot so many projectiles at you, it starts to become a problem. Wow, that was suddenly a very fast projectile mixed in there. So yeah, that's something kind of interesting because it seems like pretty much almost all the projectiles seem to have, I mean the enemy projectiles seem to have the same velocity. Which makes things very consistent, which is pretty good because that makes it more reasonable to dodge stuff. But once you all of a sudden have something faster flying at you in the middle of everything else, it can really throw a wrench into things. I don't know if that was maybe... I think some of the bots had these faster projectiles, but I don't... Wait, did that guy deflect my own projectile? Because I think the bots are out of commission and since a long time ago. I think this guy might... Yeah, it looks like he can deflect my projectile, which suddenly has a different speed, so that kind of screwed me up before. It just kind of flew back into me, and I couldn't really weave in between the bullets properly because of the difference in velocity there. What does this even do? -3 left mouse button cooldown. That sounds good. Oh. Oh, this is because I died before, right? There's so much stuff on the screen. Yeah, I don't like having a bunch of extra particles and projectiles on the screen, even if it's doing damage to enemies and stuff, because it just makes it harder to see everything. I can't say I like the fact that the item drops disappear after kind of a short while, because there's just so much else going on. Plus the fact that I have to like try and figure out what they actually say. I guess I got a key. That's kind of weird. There's another key. What is that even? Oh, I don't even have any pickups anymore. I don't even know that. But yeah, just like trying to read them and then trying to deal with other enemies around them and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it just disappears. It's like kind of punishing. I don't really see a reason why these kind of important drops that could potentially give you some nice bonuses, like permanent bonuses, would be needing to despawn that quickly. He loses his pants, okay. I guess that's something with MP again. I don't know why these all have different visual... Like, I assume because it's a bottle that it's an MP thing, but some of the bottles look different from others. I don't know if they actually do anything different besides just... Maybe they give you different amounts of MP or something, I don't know. There's another key. I don't know what these keys are. This is really hard to read that and understand what it does. So how much damage does this stuff even do to me? In the enemies' bullets and stuff? It's not very much. I'm wondering about the guys that bounce your projectiles back at you, like how much damage does that do to you? There's lots of these drops for MP or whatever. It doesn't seem very useful because, as far as I can tell, MP doesn't really do much because it's always... It's kind of like always full. It's always kind of the cooldowns that are actually limiting your use of other things. That's what it feels like anyways. What is this? I think that's the same one I already have. I didn't see what the other one was because it despawned. So yeah, I'm not seeing much in the way of health drops. There's one. A gift box has appeared in the arena, I guess. Alright, it's pointing out to me here. I haven't seen this before. What do I do? Press E? Oh, I have to shoot it? Oh, it has like a ton of health. What the heck? Oh, there is another bot here. What the heck? Stop. He has a really fast projectiles. Holy moly. And he has a big campfire thing. I don't know what that does. +2 bullet range. No, thank you. Alright, I think this bot distracting me might be letting a bunch of enemies spawn in because I haven't been killing any of the other enemies. So it's like, oh my gosh, I'm a little bit worried about that. Oh, I can't move fast enough to squeeze between these. And my collider's a bit big, so like, usually like shooter games, shmups that have a lot of bullets and stuff, they have pretty small collision on the player, so you can squeeze between a lot of things, where you don't really have that here, because the collider is rather large by comparison here. Ouch. Yeah, definitely feels bigger than I expected to be. I haven't been using specials very often. I don't really feel a need to a lot of the time. It doesn't... Oh, what? You've all been very naughty. Why is it attacking me? Did it regain its health? Does it just do that over time or something? Wow, those are fast bullets. Oh my gosh, those are fast. What are those keys? Holy crap, what just blew up behind me? Oh, that guy throws things that explode. There's a lot on the screen. I don't know. Oh, there's a door. I've got 2 keys. They're not blue though. Oh, okay. I can see. I think these are doors on the minimap here, so maybe I should try to bring these keys to those doors. Maybe that's something I meant to be focusing on. I had no idea about that. Stay away. Oh, I'm getting kind of stuck on the walls here. Yeah, it's hard to... There's so many enemies around, kind of relentlessly. It's hard to deal with stuff like that. Like, actually interact with this door here. What is this? I can't even read what this item is because I have to fight off all the enemies. Something... What the heck? I pressed F. What is this? Wait, this is like a skill tree or something. Okay, okay. What? Where did this come from? I didn't even know that this was here. I think the menu mentioned something about, or the something about like the Steam edition. If you buy it, that there was other functionality. I think that might be tied to that. I don't know, that I just had no idea that was there, but I noticed briefly reading the text on the door that I got close to, it says something about holding the F key or something, but it's really weird if you do that and then suddenly this giant thing just covers the whole screen. I don't know. I mean, I don't really see how you're meant to like interact with something like this. I can't even stop and read what these things say, let alone like make decisions about how to click this stuff in, because there's just constantly enemies everywhere. There's not really any downtime to speak of here. What is this? It looks different from what I've seen before. +9, oh, +3 speed. It's hard to read that. It does look like a 9. The speed is nice, I guess. Okay. Wow, this guy's bullets. So, okay, everything's kind of doing a lot of damage to me right now. I was kind of curious if the deflected bullets did like a lot of damage. But I guess it's about the same as everything else right now. That's actually really annoying though. I don't find I particularly like that if you... Like, I'm weaving between his own shots and then like all of a sudden I get hit in the face with my own bullet. It's kind of weird. Phew, alright, I'm still alive. I've been taking a lot of damage, just trying to like experiment with stuff, but there isn't a lot of health being spawned, so I don't know if I'm gonna end up biting the dust here or something. I've definitely held F for longer than 5 seconds, and it didn't do anything, so I don't know what the deal is here. What is this? I can't... I can't see what that says. That gift ghost is still down there. Ouch. Vermin popsicles, what is that on the left? I can't stop and read this. What is this? Chill vermin with Blizz Nova 200 times. I didn't even read the rest of what was there. I don't know what that was. Stretch. So yeah, maybe I should wrap this up. But it's very interesting. There's a lot of different enemies and stuff here, and I feel like maybe a couple of things that stand out to me the most. One is that you don't get a lot of feeling of like actually growing stronger, I notice. It seems like after playing for quite a while, I was only like ever so slightly stronger than I was at the start, and that might not be true technically, but it felt that way, so I'm not sure if the numbers were different. Like maybe I did a lot more damage, you know, just mathematically. It's just a higher damage number or something. For all I know, maybe I didn't. I just didn't really feel like I was hardly any different from what I was at the beginning there, you know. There's some kind of... whatever this is. Okay, I think this is the feats menu that was being talked about. Slay 90 vermin with your mana blast. I guess this means that if you like accomplish the thing, then you get some kind of a bonus unlocked or something. I don't really know. But in any case, yeah, I didn't feel like there's a lot of powering up going on the whole. So that would be something maybe you could just beef up significantly to give more of that feeling of progression to the player. Other thing that stood out to me a lot is I think you could tell I was kind of struggling a lot with things like trying to interact with these items that have, you know, text on them and everything. There's just not any downtime to speak of in the game. There's just kind of a constant stream of enemies with a constant stream of bullets flying at you, and you're constantly shooting back at them. And that seems to be kind of at odds with some of these kind of mechanics where we have you know, different effects and things that you want to compare, and maybe builds you want to put together. This is all kind of thinky stuff, and you have to, you know, stop and read things, especially if you're like me and you're not intimately familiar with the game yet. Whenever there's like something that pops out on the ground, it's like I never have a sense like I know what it is. It always seems like I need to like stop and actually look at it to understand what it is, but there's not any actual time given to me to do that. So I find that makes things quite troublesome, and then I think you can notice there's just kind of a few different ways that same sort of problem is showing up here, and like something else pops up on the screen, and it's like I don't have time to read what it is or whatever. It was weird with the door. I think it said to hold F. These doors here, I think it said to hold F for 5 seconds. But it just popped up what I assume was the feats menu thing. And I did hold it for, I believe, like longer, like maybe 7 or 8 seconds or something. And it didn't seem to work, so I don't know what was going on with that, but maybe I did something wrong, but it's kind of confusing. I don't know what those doors are. And so, you know, it could help to have a little more clarity in terms of what I'm actually supposed to be doing here. I kind of got the sense eventually, okay, we've got these green areas that are sort of the starting area, and then I guess you move into the blue area in between, and then eventually move into the center here. Like I can eventually kind of figure that out, but starting out, it's like I had no idea how this was meant to work, this kind of progression where we are moving in between different zones and such. Yeah, so as far as the core gameplay, I kind of mentioned it already. With this kind of game, if we completely ignore the fact that this is PvP elements, if this was purely PvE, I would say definitely make the collider and the player like a lot smaller. Make the player shots way faster. My opinion, that just feels and plays way better. It's much more responsive, more satisfying. You can kind of weave between bullets a lot better. And it just feels more forgiving in the right ways, where you don't just like slightly brush up against an enemy and end up taking damage and stuff like that. It feels way better. As I mentioned a while back, it does potentially create some problems with the PvP elements, because you don't want to feel like you're not getting. Oh, I just completely murdered that guy. He was just hanging out in this area, being really weak, I guess. Yeah, you don't want it to feel like you are shooting your opponents, but the bullets are kind of going through their sprite or whatever. That being said, if I was working on this game, I think I would try to shrink the collider on the player a bit and kind of experiment with making the player shots have larger colliders. Apart from that, I have the sense that maybe the game just might even work better if you can't just like go and kill the other players. I'm not really sure about that. It's kind of a complex question to answer. But there's some weird stuff going on when you kind of collide the idea of the PvE and the PvP at the same time, which is, I guess, a bit tricky to deal with. A Titan's death. Oh, what the heck? I just spawned on top of this guy. What the heck? Oh, this guy's almost dead. How did that happen? Whoa, oh, the collision on this is really weird. Goes like way outside of the visual here. I can't talk about that while I'm trying to deal with all these things at the same time. Spam abilities here. I want to know what happens when this guy dies, though. I think I'm gonna die first. Food, that's helpful. Everything's on cooldown. Yeah, these cooldowns are pretty harsh. It makes it hard for me to like, oh, well, whatever that is, I assume it's helpful. Status effect immunity and +2 base stats? What are my base stats? Like, boosting all your stats sounds really good, but I don't know what my base stats actually are. So, like, what does that even mean? Now I'm all rainbow colored. That's fun. So yeah, I was talking about this idea of like, I don't know if you should fundamentally change your game so that the PvP is different. Maybe that's a little too complex for the scope of this video. But I mean, talking about that, I guess what I mean is that like maybe there's other ways to compete instead of, or other ways to compete besides just like walking up to other players and shooting them. Because that's a little tricky to deal with, because if they don't suck, they can probably dodge your shots pretty easily. Unless they have like, unless one of you has shots that are really hard to dodge, but if one of you has shots that are really hard to dodge, then the PvP isn't going to be very fun, because you're just going to like murder someone else or something. It's going to be really frustrating. I don't know. There's some complexities there. It seems kind of like things I might be concerned about, but would be better explored, I guess, with actual human players. So I'll probably shut up about that for now. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I think I just, there's sort of a lot going on here, so I feel like there's a lot that I could just ramble on about forever, but I'm going to wrap up the video for now. Hopefully this was enough to be useful for you. I think, yeah, I mean, it's easy to see why people could get into doing this kind of thing, you know, actually playing with other human players and sort of competing. It could be quite interesting. So I guess I'll just end the video here. I don't know, is there destroy arena? Cursor settings. So that's this again. Oh, I actually managed to like pause the game to look at this. That's kind of nice. Let's go ahead and click on destroy arena. Oh, it just closes the whole game. Interesting. All right, so yeah, I've rambled on long enough. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.